What if her worst betrayal was your greatest blessing? Think about it. She left. She ghosted. She lost interest. And for a while, you blamed yourself. You questioned your worth, replaying every moment, every word, searching for the flaw that made her walk away. But what if I told you that the moment she took you for granted was the moment you were handed the key to becoming untouchable? She didn't expect you to rise. She expected you to break. She anticipated the late night texts, the desperate calls, the emotional pleas. That's what she conditioned you for. Emotional slavery disguised as love. But you're not her project anymore. You're a man. Now, it's time to think like a stoic. Move like a ghost. Unbothered, unavailable, unshakable. This isn't about coddling your pain. It's about weaponizing it. We're diving deep into how heartbreak becomes your greatest advantage, using stoicism, dark psychology, and brutal self-discipline to flip the script. This isn't about winning her back. It's about making her regret ever letting you go. So strap in. This is how you stop being the victim and become the storm. If you're done being haunted by what ifs, if you're ready to start over without looking back, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. She lost me the moment I found myself. 1. The fall. You were her emotional safety net. She didn't love you. She loved the version of you that gave her comfort on demand. The version that said yes when she didn't deserve it. The version that made her feel like the center of the universe while she treated you like an afterthought. You weren't her man. You were her emotional support system, disguised as a boyfriend. And when that role stopped feeding her ego, she dropped you without hesitation. Most men confuse loyalty with value. They think consistency, reliability, and emotional availability will make her stay. But in reality, when she knows you'll never leave, no matter how she treats you, she stops trying. She stops appreciating you because she doesn't fear losing you. And without that fear, desire dies. Let's be real. She didn't fall out of love. She fell out of control. When a woman feels she has full power, emotionally, mentally, even sexually, her interest fades. It's not fair, but it's human psychology. Certainty kills curiosity. Predictability suffocates attraction. You made her your world. She made you an option. So when she left, you didn't just feel heartbreak. You felt ego death. That pain? It's your wake-up call. The collapse you felt was your old self shattering under the weight of your own illusions. Now, you have a choice. Keep chasing ghosts, or face the truth. You weren't valued because you weren't scarce. You weren't respected because you weren't a challenge. That version of you died when she walked away. From the ashes, a new man rises. One who doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't settle. 2. The truth hurts, but lies hurt longer. You told yourself she loved you, that it was just a phase, that she'd come back, that if you waited long enough, she'd realize what she lost. That was the lie. A lie you repeated until you believed it. Not because it was true, but because it was easier than accepting the brutal reality. She saw your worth and walked away anyway. Here's the hard truth. The more you cling to the fantasy, the more you destroy yourself. She's not confused. She's not figuring things out. She left because she wanted to. Maybe she replaced you before you even noticed. Maybe she had someone lined up while you were still texting her goodnight. That truth cuts deep, but it's cleaner than months of denial. Stoicism teaches one lesson above all. Accept what is, not what you wish it was. The pain you feel isn't just about her leaving. It's about the story you built around her, the pedestal you put her on, The lies you told yourself to avoid facing the void. But lies rot you from the inside. They keep you stuck, begging for closure that will never come. The moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment you stop needing her apology. You don't need answers, you need truth. And the truth is, she underestimated your ability to rise. She thought you'd drown in heartbreak, but pain is pressure, and pressure forges legends. So ask yourself, are you done pretending she was your forever when she barely gave you the bare minimum? Or are you ready to see her for what she was? A temporary lesson in a permanent evolution. 3. Cut the cord, stop feeding the illusion. She's not thinking about you the way you're thinking about her. That last message you sent? She read it, ignored it, maybe even laughed. And every time you check her profile, stalk her stories, or reread old texts, you're not cherishing memories. You're feeding an illusion. The illusion that she still cares, that she'll come back, that there's something left to salvage. There isn't. No contact isn't a strategy. It's survival. It's not about winning her back. It's about winning yourself back. Every second you spend watching her live without you is a second stolen from your own healing. You're trying to keep a flame alive in a house that's already burned down. She's moved on, or at least she's pretending to. And that's all it takes for her to win the psychological game. Here's where dark psychology comes in. Attention is currency. Every view, every text, every call sends her one message. He still wants me. And the more she knows that, the less respect she has for you. Because women don't crave what's desperate. They crave what's distant, what's uncertain, what's powerful enough to walk away and mean it. The second you stop feeding the illusion, you starve her of that validation. That's when the shift begins. Cut the cord. Block her if you have to, not out of hate, but out of clarity. The real power move isn't exploding in anger. It's disappearing in silence. She can't miss you while you're still orbiting her world. Detach, not to get her attention, but to reclaim your identity. 4. The vacuum principle. Let her feel your absence. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does the human mind. When you disappear completely, when you remove your presence, your attention, your energy, she feels it, even if she doesn't admit it. Even if she's posting pictures with someone new, laughing on her story, pretending she's moved on. Behind the scenes, the silence starts to eat at her. Because before, you were always there, always replying, always available. Now, you're a ghost. Most men make the mistake of pulling away just enough to make her curious, but not enough to make her feel the loss. That's weakness disguised as strategy. That's hoping she notices you're missing without ever truly being gone. But true power is when you vanish, not to provoke her, but to rebuild yourself. When she looks for your energy and finds emptiness, that's when regret begins to grow. This is the vacuum principle. Your absence creates space, and in that space, she's forced to confront the consequences of her decision. Not immediately, not obviously, but eventually, she'll start wondering where your attention went, who it's going to, what you're doing, who you're becoming. And because you're silent, because you're not feeding her ego with breadcrumbs, her mind fills in the blanks. That uncertainty, that's your leverage. Stoicism is control, not just of emotion, but of attention. You no longer give yourself to people who discard you. You become a closed chapter she can't rewrite. The longer you hold that silence, the louder it echoes in her world. She thought you'd always be there. Now, she's haunted by the fact that you're not. 5. Power in silence. Your words once built her world. Your words used to be her reality. Every good morning text, every late night call, every time you told her she was beautiful, special, different. Those words built a world where she was queen. And she grew addicted to it. Until she didn't. Until your words stopped giving her a thrill. Until your love became background noise. So she walked away. Now, she expects more words, closure, reaction, maybe even rage. But you give her none of it. That's where your power begins. Silence is the most uncomfortable answer a person can receive. It leaves them alone with their thoughts. And for someone who thrived on your validation, your silence is terrifying. It makes her question herself, not immediately, but slowly, deeply. Did she matter? Do you feel anything? Have you already moved on? That mystery, that void, it's the opposite of the control she once had. When you talk, you give away energy. When you explain, you justify her actions. When you react, you validate her power over you. But silence? Silence flips the script. It tells her she no longer has access. You've reclaimed the one thing she never thought you'd protect, your attention. The Stoics understood this. Restraint isn't weakness, it's discipline. Anyone can lash out. Anyone can beg. But holding your tongue when your heart is bleeding? That's strength. That's transformation. Every time you choose silence over chaos, you remind her and yourself that you're no longer the man she left. 6. Rebuild in shadows. Become the man she never understood. She thought she knew you, thought she had you figured out. Predictable, safe, always there, always chasing. She put you in a box and labeled it harmless. And the truth is, back then, maybe you were. Maybe you were soft for her, gentle, available. But that version of you, he's gone. He died the moment you realized she didn't value him. Now, you rebuild in silence, in the shadows, away from her eyes, far from her expectations. This is where the real shift happens, not in gym selfies or Instagram quotes. It happens in the solitude of the grind. When you lift weights like it's war, when you build discipline like a religion, when you wake up early, move in silence, and work like a man possessed, not to prove anything to her, but to become someone who doesn't need her. That's when the power starts compounding. Dark psychology teaches us something women don't say out loud. Unpredictability is magnetic. When she sees a man she once controlled become a mystery, she can't look away. She'll check your profile, ask mutual friends, test the waters. But you don't post your progress. You don't announce your comeback. You just evolve, quietly, ruthlessly. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally bulletproof. While she's seeking attention, you're seeking mastery. Then one day, whether in a photo or a chance encounter, it'll hit her. The man she left behind is now someone she'll never have access to again. Not because you hate her, because you outgrew her. 7. Cold attraction. Desire follows distance. You don't attract by chasing. You attract by stepping back, by removing your need to be needed. When she knew you were always one text away, she felt no urgency, no fear, no mystery. But now that you've gone cold, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, she starts to notice. The silence starts to unsettle her. The distance becomes palpable. And the irony? That's when the attraction creeps back in. It's wired into human psychology. What's scarce becomes valuable. What's common becomes ignored. Back then, you were common to her, too available, too eager. Now, you're distant, you're unavailable, and that creates space in her mind, space she doesn't know how to fill. The texts you stopped sending, the calls you stopped making, they echo louder than anything you could have said. Women are drawn to what they can't fully understand. When you're warm, kind, open, it's easy for them to get comfortable. But when you flip the switch, when you go cold without warning, that forces a shift. Now she's watching you, not out of curiosity, but confusion. Why isn't he chasing me? Who is he talking to? What happened to the guy who used to worship me? That uncertainty is what makes her feel the pull again. But this time, you're not offering yourself. This time, the door stays shut. Stoicism teaches you this. Don't pursue what flees. Let it go. Stand still and let what's meant for you come back stronger or not at all. You don't chase. You don't prove. You exist, and that's enough. Cold attraction isn't about being mean. It's about being detached, emotionally free, unavailable to games, but open to growth. That's what makes her regret leaving.